Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Mainly Celtics. We got a big one here. We're only, by the time you guys hear this, there will only be 10 days left until the regular season begins. We're recording on October 9th. Maddie, we had a game on the 4th. What was that, Wednesday? And a game tonight, Saturday.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
I think it was Tuesday. Oh, no, it was a Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
It was Monday? Yeah, I felt like it was earlier in the week than that. I felt like there was a large layoff, which I don't love. But I like how you've been living in the South for what, like 3 weeks now. You're already saying y'all.
Already saying y'all, yeah.
No, but the game was it was decent. I mean, the Magic aren't a powerhouse of a team. Jonathan Isaac didn't play, who is, I think,
it's too bad, man. He's so
yeah. I'm sure all of his friends really missed him, but no, I mean they won the game, which is nice to see. Obviously, I don't think preseason wins and losses count a whole lot, but I think there's a lot of good to take away from this game. There's also a lot they need to clean up.
Yeah.
If they want to get rolling on day one. So we can kind of start with just the ball movement. I thought the ball movement overall was really good. I think we talked about that a lot with the roster construction. There's no guys on the team, at least part of who we think is going to be the regular rotation, that are going to be like ball stoppers or guys that don't move the ball well for their position.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw that a lot. I mean, obviously the offense was a little sloppy where I think they had a few too many turnovers. And I think sometimes they're making maybe one too many passes, but it definitely seems like they're being active, trying to move the ball around. It seems like less isolation as opposed to what we saw last year.
Yeah, I agree. I know you had said that you have a lot of takeaways, and I was going to back you up with some stats. 16 turnovers in a preseason game.
Yeah, and how many assists did they have?
Assists, they had 19.
19? Okay, so that's definitely not great, but at least they had more assists than turnovers.
Yeah.
It just looked.
Go ahead.
It just looked. I mean, just pace wise, like it looked like they were trying to be aggressive. It looked like they're trying to move the ball. It looked like they're trying to play a little fast pace, but it also looked like they didn't look fully comfortable doing that, and that's to be expected. It's the first time against real NBA competition doing that, So a little bit of sloppiness is to be expected.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the stats here, there's one thing that really pops out to me. There were only 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess there were 6 guys that were negative plus minus. Leading the pack was Jason Tatum at a minus 14. That's a bit concerning.
I'm not gonna have too many concerns about Tatum early on. Yeah, it seemed like, who are the other guys that are in the negatives? Can you just list them?
Rob Williams minus 5, Al Horford minus 3, Dennis Schroeder minus 12, not good. Peyton Pritchard minus 3, Grant Williams minus 3.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of get it with Schroeder because usually when they put the second unit in originally, and I know Rob and Al didn't play a whole lot together, but when they put the second unit in originally, the offense did look a little bit sloppy. It looked like they were just missing a lot of shots. Like, a lot of the shots weren't terrible shots. They weren't bad looks. They just weren't hitting them. I think they shot like 36% from the field.
35.2.
Yeah, so like not good from the field. Like, it wasn't a very, and I don't think that was I think that you would have seen a lot more assists if a lot of times there's good passes and guys were just missing their shots, it's the first preseason game. So I expect the kind of the defense to be there a little bit more than the offense, just because these guys haven't shot in a regular season game, and just getting the feel of some of these lineups, getting used to each other might have been a little bit of a struggle. But overall, like I said, like I think they're getting quality shots. I think most of those shots will fall. We just had a couple guys that just had bad shooting nights. I mean, we'll talk about Rob later, but Rob wasn't good. Josh Richardson wasn't good. I think those guys will certainly be better. I think Rob, I'm less worried about, seeing how he shot 72% from the field last year. I don't think he's going to have very many 0 for 7 nights come the regular season.
Yeah. But, I mean, you're right. The shooting was down. I mean, Rob Williams, 0 for 7. Marcus Smart, 2 for 6. Al Horford, 2 for 6. Josh Richardson, 1 for 8. Dennis Schroeder, 1 for 7. I mean, Romeo, 2 for 6. Big bucket at the end. But, I mean, those numbers will change, but it's I mean, they shot 35.2% from the field and 35 from three. So
Yeah.
at least they're knocking down their threes, but couldn't make the.
How many of those did Jaylen account for?
Jaylen Brown shot 8 of 16 and 4 of 12 from three.
Yeah, so he was 4 for 12. Okay, wow. I thought he was doing a little better than that, but from deep. But no, I mean, I think, like I said, like there's just no way, like they'll regress to the mean. Like there's just no way those guys are gonna shoot that poorly every single night. I think as the preseason goes along, I think a lot of those guys, I think Rob's trying to make a conscious effort to not just limit his game to dunks. I can't remember who wrote the Athletic article, but someone was talking about how So I was talking about how Al was basically telling Rob, it's like, okay, like you don't have to dunk it every time. We know you can, but you're gonna need to like save some of those bullets for later. Like your body's gonna wear down. Like you're gonna need to have a little bit more of a grounded game. I think you saw that. I think he tried some jump shots and some floaters from like 10 feet out or so, which really isn't his game. But I think he's really trying to at least try this preseason. Saying, I mean, it's not like he's gonna forget how to dunk.
No.
Like, I think for the most part, this game and this preseason, I think we're going to see a lot more Rob taking those 10-foot jump shots, trying to expand his range a little bit, trying to expand his offensive game so he doesn't have to rely so much on just dunking the basketball. Because, I mean, he's not the most healthy guy in the world, and him just taking that repeated, that just all that jumping definitely isn't going to be helpful for his body. So,
no.
What else do we have from that game?
We'll talk about Romeo in a minute. The starting lineup. I know throughout the week there were quotes from Ime about like, oh, don't put too much stock into this. But then a lot of people on Twitter and the media sphere were a little blown away that who was it? Juancho and Grant Williams were in the starting lineup.
Grant wasn't starting. You mean Rob?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I read that wrong. Hernangomez played 17 minutes. Rob 19 and Grant Williams almost 10 minutes. And they combined to make 2 baskets.
Yeah. Juancho, I think his best skill, I'm hoping, like I said, like once again, I was reading Athletic article and it reminded me that his rookie year he shot 40%. He's been much worse than that his past couple of years from 3, sorry. But he will provide at least rebounding. Defensively, he's not a stalwart by any means. He's pretty defender. Yeah. But I think it's the idea of him is what they like. Like, I think they want to go big. I think they want to limit Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing the 3 and the 4. I think for the most part, they're really going to want them, especially in the starting lineup, to be playing a lot of like the wing positions.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably going to be Al, but I think they just for right now, I think they're just trying out some different looks. I think it will be a bigger guy though, so that allows Jason Tatum and Jaylen to play the 2 and the 3.
Right. This team is the most active and the most aggressive with Jaylen Brown at the 2 and Jason Tatum at the 3.
And they're just so long, especially Marcus Smart point guard. They're such a long team. And you have a guy like Marcus Smart, like he can guard up all the way to like small forwards. You have Jaylen Brown and guard like 1 through 4. Jason Tatum, like same thing. Like you have guys that can guard a lot of different positions. I think that's what they want to see out of this unit. And it created some very interesting looks. Just having that extra body, and it can cause a lot of chaos just having those long arms in the lanes.
Yeah. But I was telling you when we opened up, I only got to see about the first 10 minutes before I went to work. And Hernangomez was out there and he was an active part of the ball movement, a guy that, like how you opened up talking, ball movement is going to be so important for this team, especially the lack thereof last year. I think that's going to be a massive a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? Of massive importance for this team under new coach, under new leadership, things like that. and Hernan Gomez fits the bill. I mean, he had a pretty solid night. Outside of only taking 2 shots. I mean, he made all 4 of his free throws, 3 offensive rebounds, a block, only 1 turnover, 2 fouls, 6 points, and +6 in the plus minus.
Yeah, I mean, I like his hustle. I think that's his biggest attribute to the team. He's a hustler. He's a good rebounder. I think if he is able to hit that open jump shot just a couple times a game, I think he'll definitely have a spot in the rotation.
No doubt.
Like I said, like I just think Al is a better fit if they want to go big, and then maybe have either Al be the first one out and then sub him back in when Rob needs a break, or sub Rob out, move Al to the 5. Because I really like the team, and I think MA's. I want Rob to be the starter, but I think Udoka's vision really has Al playing center a lot, because what he wants to do, it really emphasizes Al's skill set a lot better than it does Rob's.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But we have seen a vast improvement in Rob's playmaking, his floor vision. There were points at a time outside of like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart, he was the next best passer on this team. Like he at points last season he was. But to your point, yes, Al Horford does fit the mold of this offense that they're looking for, and as the defense as well. But I think we'll see a switch throughout the season from Al to Rob as Rob gets more comfortable in a new scheme, and hopefully, fingers crossed, stays healthier and can be an everyday guy on this roster, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, like I still think it's going to be Rob's role, but I do think maybe Al will get some more minutes. And I do think that they'll try and play Al almost essentially at the center position rather than trying to have him play some power forward, aside from this, like the first time he enters in the starting lineup. Mm. Because what they want to do, what Udoka's whole thing seems to be, is like ball movement, pace, and he wants to be very switchable on defense. That's what we saw the other day. He had a lot of times, it looked a lot like what the Warriors did when the Warriors really cooking, like Draymond grabs a rebound and just takes it off on the fast break. Al was doing that a lot the other day. Mm-hmm. He wants 5 guys that can move the ball around and make the right pass, which Al is known to do. Rob makes a lot of fantastic passes, but sometimes he doesn't make the easy pass as well as Rob does, as well as Al does. Like he isn't making like the simple pass to get to another pass. Sometimes he's just looking for the assist. And he's gonna and Rob's gonna develop that as he gets older and gets more mature and more comfortable. And the last thing is the defense was switching everything, which clearly favors Al more than favors Rob. Although Rob did hold his own, where he had 2 blocks on jump shots, because his athleticism and his length will make up for a lot of his shortcomings, being able to move his feet laterally.
Absolutely. 2 blocks, only 1 foul out of Rob, no turnovers, and 5 total rebounds.
Yeah. And that was a big thing with the Athletic article I read too, was I think Rob had like 5.6 fouls per 100 possessions, which is like not good at all. Mm-hmm. And Grant had the league leading 6.9. So those guys, the Celtics as a whole fouled a lot. So I think that in order for Rob and Grant to really make that jump defensively, it's just really limit the fouls. Especially Rob, because Rob has the ability to be one of the best rim protectors. But if he just limits his fouls, he can be much more effective as a player.
Yeah, something I found interesting when looking at these stats from Monday night was 14 fouls, 9 steals, and 6 blocks. So they outperformed the fouling with forcing turnovers, which is always a good number to have.
Yeah, and they like we've said, like they're a very long, athletic, switchable team, and they cause a lot of havoc just having those long arms, and that's why I think they want to go with that bigger lineup, because it just creates harder passing lanes when you have a guy, the shortest guy, the second shortest guy in the court's a 6'6" with like a 6'9" wingspan, and Jaylen Brown. Like it just creates a lot of havoc, and obviously Tatum's very, very long for most threes. And if you have Al out there, it's basically essentially the size of a center, and Rob, who's very long and athletic, it just creates a lot of chaos in passing lanes, makes it tough, provides an extra rim protector in Al. as opposed to what we had last year, where Tristan Thompson, even playing the 4 as a center, isn't much of a rim protector, where Al is more of. So I really like this team, and I think we're going to see a trend of that. They're going to get a lot of fast break points because they're getting a lot of turnovers based on blocks and steals.
Absolutely. Your boy, just to round out a couple more interesting stats. Your boy Enes Kanter, 1 for 1 from the field, 3 rebounds, 2 points, and +9. So he was helpful on the court. He was also part of the ball movement scheme, and +9 over what he played. He played 9 minutes and +9. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, it was at the end of the game, and a lot of the Magic stars had also been pulled.
Yeah,
he kind of went in that run with it was he, Pritchard, Romeo, Josh Richardson, Neesmith, and Kanter, which actually we saw quite a bit of, having like Neesmith played some 4 last night, or Richardson, whatever you want to consider the 4 in that lineup. And also we saw some Jaylen Brown in the 4. So like we said, they're trying to go big, but they think one of those lineups, of course, is Kanter, who's not very athletic. But one of those lineups was next to Al, and I think that's a lineup that really would excel as a fast break lineup, a high pace lineup. So we can see a bunch of different looks even within this team.
No doubt. The Twitter world was very, very impressed with the second unit and the ability to close out that game with the second unit out on the floor. I mean, obviously against other second unit players, but to have you talked a little bit earlier of how like just the second unit looked a bit sloppy and didn't make all their shots, but you could see the progress, you could see the promise of that second unit. The guys that you just rattled off, Richardson, Romeo, Naismith, Pritchard, Enes Kanter, guys like Grant Williams, and then throw in Al Horford, Rob Williams in there, whoever's not starting, or whoever is in the
and Schroeder. I mean, is acting
Schroeder
as the 6th man over right now.
Right. The media perception and reception of that second unit was very positive, especially based on or looking back at last year and how it was just abysmal.
Yeah, that's what I think the biggest thing is it's like they didn't play well, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, they weren't. You can clearly tell this is going to be a much better team than last year. You can say whatever you want about the fit of the second unit and what you think of the players. It's very clear that these players are significantly better than the second unit we were running out last year.
Absolutely. And that is among some of the top concerns that I had going into the season, at least.
Yeah. Do I have anything else about the game?
Well, speaking of the second unit, we had Romeo. Romeo shut the door, slammed it down.
Yeah, he did that in the summer league too.
Yeah,
hitting a big 3 to win a game, and I'm trusting him more and more. Although, I mean, we can go into it later. Maybe we can transition right now. We're going to kind of talk about some of the rotation players, or some of the non kind of centerpiece players of this team, and what we think what our expectations are. And Romeo, I do think he's improved. I think we saw him last year be able to get somewhat consistent minutes in the rotation last year towards the end. But based on what I saw last night, I don't think he figures into getting any serious rotation minutes to start the season. Because Neesmith, Richardson, I mean, those are 2 guys he's kind of competing with minutes wise. Those guys played with the starters, and they played with our top bench guys and Al and Schroeder. But Romeo really didn't come in the game till the end, when the starters were done and the second unit, some of the veteran second unit guys were already done. So I am a little bit concerned about him, although I think in the times that he does play, he'll be much more effective than his last year, because I do think his jump shot has made at least a slight improvement. Yeah.
Okay. So let's transition here. We are, like we said, 10 or 11 days out from the season. So we wanted to give our sort of predictions, aspirations, thoughts on some guys that we want to contribute this year. And there's no better fit after a big shot out of Romeo to start off with him. I agree with you. I think he is third on the totem pole under Richardson and Naismith as like bench wing on the second unit. So yeah, I think it will be a little difficult for him to get legit all the time rotational minutes until he proves something.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I'm disliking the Josh, and we can talk about Josh Richardson next, but I'm disliking the Josh Richardson move more and more. Because I even said this a couple weeks ago, where I was like, they do a lot of the same things. Like their skills are very similar in a lot of ways, where they're not really great shooters. They have decent like shot creation skills. Obviously, Richardson's a better playmaker, and as a defender, I think I'm Romeo just impresses me every single time I watch him play defense. But so does Josh Richardson. Like those are both guys I think would be stoppers and against most wings. So I do think the slight edge is to Richardson because of that playmaking ability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think it's tough, because I don't think Romeo is going to be able to overtake him unless Richardson really just plays poorly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start here. Last season, Romeo's had 3.1 points, 0.7 assists, 1.9 rebounds, shooting 35% from the field, and 28% from three.
Yeah, so not good.
Not good, no. And that was only in 18 games on an average of 15.7 minutes. I don't see him getting any more than 15 minutes.
So I think, sorry.
No, go ahead. That was my point.
I think that would be, yeah, you were just like starting to like lag a little bit. So I wasn't sure if you were still talking or not, but no, I don't think he even gets 15 minutes. I do think his efficiency will go up because, like I said, I think he's just a better offensive player than he was just a season ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully he's shooting like at least like low 40s from the field, shooting like close to mid 30s from three, which is pretty much what Josh Richardson gives you already. Yeah. So it's like it's going to be tough. And obviously Naismith's a guy that second half of the year shot like 40% from three. I think they showed the graphic the other night where it's like his last like 2 months of the season he shot 40% from three. So it's going to be really tough when a guy provides that much spacing, and Romeo doesn't really have an elite skill of defense, and this team is loaded with guys that can play defense.
Yeah, I honestly don't see Romeo Langford shooting 40-33 splits, you know, like I don't think that'll happen given his track record. Hopefully a full preseason, a full training camp, an improved summer league, which we already saw. Hopefully that translates. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, but I still don't believe that he is that type of guy. Yeah.
Could you pull up his summer league stats, do you think?
Yeah. Let me.
While we transition. So we had, obviously we talked about Romeo first because Romeo is very near and dear to my heart. I have high hopes for Romeo. He's also in a situation now where he's likely to not. He's not going to get an extension, it doesn't seem. And it's even less likely he might even honestly get waived by the way the calorie stuff works, I've been seeing. Or just like money-wise, it might make more sense to waive him at the end of the year, not retain his rights or trade him away for essentially like a pick or something. Yeah. But I'm hoping he has the opportunity. I think that, like I said, I think he's improved. I think Naismith has improved more, and I think we saw Naismith what he can do even just the second half of last year. So yeah. It makes it tough when you have another guy in the same position, another young guy, and he's already shown that he can be a more consistent NBA player.
Okay, so I was wrong about Romeo. The summer league stats: 17.1 points on 44% from the field and 38 from three.
Yeah, I mean, even like I said, like it is summer league, so I don't want to get too it. But even if he's shooting like 42% from three, 42% from the field, like 33, 34% from three, that would be an encouraging sign, and that's what I hope. And I think still we obviously have health and safety protocol going on, and I mean Jaylen Brown's in that right now after he tested positive. We'll see opportunities for him to be able to slide into that. Those like backup wing minutes, probably alongside either Neesmith or Richardson, depending on who one of those Tatum, Brown, Richardson, or Neesmith is out that particular day. So I think he'll get consistent enough run to at least be able to show his growth. And that's what I'm really looking for. I just want to see a little bit, a decent amount of growth this season.
I agree. And he only played 18 games last year. So we're basically playing with house money with Romeo, because we have guys like Richardson and Naismith ahead of him. Anything positive from Romeo is icing on top, you know. I just said that I didn't think that he would do that, but if he even came close, if he shot 39 from the field and 30% from three, then that's a positive sign. Say he scores 5-6 points a game, with those 15 minutes that he would get. And like you said, the defense is already there. He's a versatile guy, can bring the ball up the court, can guard 2s and 3s, can pass the ball, is very smart on defense. It's hard to have a negative outlook on Romeo, because, like I said, he is his basically just house money at this point, because we haven't seen him play.
Yeah, the only thing that does suck, though, is he was a lottery pick. I believe he was, 13th or 14th?
I thought it was either 14th, 15th, or 16th.
I think he was 14th. I think he was the last pick of the lottery.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it just sucks because that does make him a little bit more expensive than, say, some other guys. And it does suck when you waste a lottery pick on a guy that year. This is what, year 3 for him now?
Yeah.
You waste you waste a lottery pick on a guy that in his third year is like inconsistent rotation player, and that's where he's at. Like it does suck. Like I was hoping by now he'd be a consistent rotation player,
right,
and being a guy that can seriously contribute to this team, and he's just not there. Like he's probably the 11th, 12th man on this team,
right, and to be the 14th overall pick. I'm interested. When I brought this up to you, I wanted to ask you, where does Romeo fit in that draft class?
I think he slides back to, honestly, probably back of the first round. I still think he's shown enough defensively, but he just hasn't been healthy. Like, I think that's his biggest thing, where he hasn't been able to show it. Probably even second round, like, honestly. Like, you can't honestly say, like, I think the potential of Romeo is still higher than Grant's, but you cannot, like, give an honest evaluation of what Romeo's shown so far and been like, yeah, he's provided more value to this team than Grant. Like, you can't do it at this point, which sucks. Yeah, because I still believe in him, but it's just he hasn't produced.
Mm-hmm. So Romeo is in the Zion, John Morant, RJ Barrett class. I'm looking guys ahead of him. So 10 through 14, Romeo's drafted 14th. Cam Reddish, Cam Johnson, PJ Washington, Tyler Hero, Romeo Langford.
That's tough. That's a tough 5 to be paired with. All those guys have been very solid for their particular teams.
Absolutely. And then 15th was Sekou Doumbouya, who just got traded twice and then waived. Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 17. Matisse Thybulle.
I'd put him over him. Yeah, I'd put him over Romeo.
Brandon Clark at 21.
I'd put him over Romeo.
Darius Bazley, 23. Ty Jerome, 24. Nazir Little, 25.
Yeah, that's the range where I don't know. Like, I honestly haven't been keeping up with them. I don't think any of them have been huge impact players for any team. I've heard of Bazley a little bit because he's got an opportunity because he played for the Thunder, but
yeah, in Oklahoma.
I don't know. That's probably close to the line of where, like, I could see him going ahead of them. But I'm sure there's probably second round picks too in that draft that have been.
I mean, even really the valuable. End of this first round, Jordan Poole at 28, Kevin Porter Jr. 30, Nicholas Claxton 31, Cody Martin 36, Daniel Gafford 38, Eric Pascal 41, Bol 42, Talen Horton Tucker 46, Terrence Mann 48. Yeah, I mean,
so like I said, like you can't put him over all those guys you just named in the second round guys. Like, he's probably somewhere in like the early second round for like where he'd be redrafted if there was a redraft.
which is crazy. Crazy to miss like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but he made a comeback. He made a comeback the next year. Brad did, with getting Neesmith and Peyton Pritchard. So the next guy you want to talk about? Do you want to go Josh Richardson next? Talk about what we think about Josh Richardson.
Yeah, Josh Richardson.
You want to go first?
Let me pull up the Basketball Reference.
Josh Richardson, former Heat, former Sixer, former Mavs.
Yeah. Always number 0. So this is his first year not wearing 0. Last year in Dallas, 30 minutes a game, shot 42%, 43% from the field, 33 from 3. 92% from the free throw line, 12 points a game, a full steal, 2.6 assists, 30.3 rebounds. A solid piece. I mean, there was a reason why we traded for Richardson. One was to be potentially another tradable contract. But also he immediately comes in and fits a role that this team drastically needed. My personal take on Richardson, I can see him getting spot starts. I can see him starting maybe 10, 15 games this year, playing super well alongside Marcus Smart, playing the Marcus Smart role when Dennis Schroeder is on the court, playing the Jaylen Brown role when Jaylen Brown is sitting. A guy that will move the ball, is very aware of himself on the court, great catch and shoot guy, and is going to give you 10 plus a night. So I know we talked about how we wish Romeo could sort of slide into that position, but it's not going to happen, at least as of now. And I think Richardson, like I said, fits this team to a T. If he's comfortable being the 6th, 7th man with Schroeder, with Pritchard, then this team is far better off. I mean, who was in this position last year? To start the season, it was Jeff Teague. You know, like, that's a massive come up from that. And I'm honestly looking for it. He and Schroeder are the 2 guys that I'm super excited to watch play this year. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I think for him, like, he has less pressure on his shoulders. Like last year, I think they traded him for Seth Curry, and probably behind Luka, Kristaps, and Tim Hardaway Jr. He probably had the most. They probably thought of him as like the number 4 guy in his team. Whereas on this team, he, like you said, he gets to be like the eighth or so man on the team,
yeah,
8th or 9th man on the team, and I think that's gonna be a lot easier for him. I obviously don't watch a ton of Dallas Mavericks games. I watched him occasionally when he played for Philly. Mm-hmm. From what I've read about him, is his biggest thing was he's a guy that can create his own shot, but that's not where he excels in the shot creator role. He's a guy where if you want the best out of him, he's your very similar Marcus Smart. He's your best top defender. He's locking down the other team's best guard. Mm-hmm. And offensively, he's a guy who's just trying to play make for others. He's not trying to look for his own shot. Like, that's when he's at his best. And I think with all the players we acquired this year, I do think he has the capability to do that this year, which
no doubt,
which will be helpful.
Oh, absolutely. I think the takeaway from this episode is going to be that this bench unit is good. Like, this bench unit is so complementary to Jaylen, to Rob, to JT, even to Al. I mean, Al and Rob are going to be playing on this bench unit, and they're incredibly complementary to both of their games.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, like, the shooting is a little concerning, only 33% from 3, especially with playing with Schroeder, maybe sometimes playing with Marcus Smart, but it's not an end-all be-all, because like we said, like, if he's doing a lot of the playmaking, if he's going to be a ball mover and a guy that's going to be that lead defender, I think it's going to matter less than if he were, because it's not like we're relying on him. Maybe the second year we're going to rely on him a little bit to be a shot creator, but for the most part, we're relying on him to be the playmaker or like the fourth option on the court at most times. So the pressure is not going to be on him to create his own shot. So I think he's going to probably be a little bit more efficient this year and hopefully excel in this role that we have him in.
Yeah, he is going to be. So my perfect role for him would be probably playing the 3 on the bench with Romeo. I'm not with Romeo, with Peyton Pritchard and Dennis Schroeder. Those 3 guys at the top, and then whoever Juancho and Al or Rob at the down low. Interchange those big guys however the game flow goes. But with Pritchard and Schroeder out on the court, he doesn't have to really bring the ball up. He doesn't have to create for himself because both those guys can. And he can basically just stay open, move the ball, set good screens, and be a menace on both ends. Because, like you said, I mean, Pritchard is undersized, Schroeder is undersized, and not the greatest defender. So he'll be taking on the second unit's top ball handler. I'm just looking forward to the fit with those 3 guys.
Yeah, and it does make me a little bit nervous because, like you said, the size, but I don't know. I'm sure they'll stagger in such a way that they'll be able to at least put up a decent defensive lineup out there, even with those 3 guys maybe being a little undersized for their position. Yeah.
I worry less about the size, especially with whoever's playing the backup center. And if Juancho is going to get those second unit minutes at the 4. And to be honest, I can imagine that Ime would have strictly bench players out there very rarely. Like I think there's
probably stagger that a lot.
Yeah, I think so. Then you take that bench unit, Richardson, Pritchard, Schroeder, throw in Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and then have your bench big. Even then, that's 4 bench guys. That team is still so crafty, very good at defense, and able to move the ball and score anywhere.
Yeah, like you said, like even if we're starting with a big lineup, we can easily go small. Where say we sub out everyone but Jalen and Marcus to start, and then you have say Schroeder, Smart, Jaylen Brown, Juancho and Al. Like that's still a pretty good sized lineup.
Yeah,
out there. So that's I think they'll have enough. He'll have enough creativity with the lineups in order to not be exposed defensively. But you want to move on to our last guy we were going to talk about today, Grant Williams?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like how he looks now as a skinnier boy. He looks a lot better. He's moving a lot better. And I'll mention the league leading 6.9 fouls per 100 possessions.
Yep.
Which is awful. So he needs to foul less. And my big thing with him is, and we talked about this a little while ago, and when it was reported he lost all that weight, we're like, well, I think his biggest problem is he'd foul because he didn't have quick enough feet to stay with other forwards. Mm-hmm. Where he would try and move his feet, they'd be able to get by him, and then he'd foul as like a last ditch effort to try and like contest their shot or try and stop them from scoring. So I think him getting a little bit skinnier is going to help. I think that means he's not going to play much 5 at all unless he's going against another like stretch 5, like I said, like thinking about like the Brooklyn Nets, a team that's going to have Blake Griffin out there playing the 5. Like that'd be a more reasonable 5 matchup, and I think that's the only time you're really going to utilize him at the 5. I think as of right now, it's going to be pretty split between who plays better between him and Juancho that earns those backup 4 minutes.
Yeah, and right now I don't think he has earned any of those minutes based on last year. But this is still the preseason. He can still impress. I doubt that there will be a real concrete lineup until, I don't know, the start of December. What do you think? Like, probably, I'm sure that the first month plus of the season is going to be finagling different things, working around, like you said, COVID restrictions, injuries that are always bound to happen, guys getting rest, and just seeing what we've got. We've got a brand new coach, and I wouldn't say a massive roster overhaul, but we have different pieces in different areas that have yet to play. They've played one preseason game together, 2 when you hear this, but I think that he's going to get a run, and I just think he has to do a lot with that run to have any legitimate role on this team.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a battle all preseason to who is being able to consistently guard other 4 high-level defenders, whoever looks the best defensively, and whoever can consistently hit their open shots. I think that's what it's going to come down to between him and Juancho, of who's going to earn those backup 4 minutes. Like I said, I do think Al will probably be the starting 4. Or if not, I think it's going to be Al or Jason Tatum. So either way, they're going to be trying to earn those backup power forward minutes.
Right.
But we'll have to wait and see. I'm happy that he made that commitment to losing weight, because that was my big complaint with him, where it's like he's not athletic enough to play power forward. So hopefully he looks like he's gotten a little bit quicker. So hopefully that helps make him be a more true power forward.
Yeah, I that's the best hope that we can get out of hearing this news of him slimming down, him able to move his feet. I mean, Grant Williams was a 2-time All SEC defensive player, like a guy at least one. I know he was at least on one defensive team, but I'm fairly certain that he was on 2. I mean, this guy can still play defense. I mean, it's a massive jump from the SEC to the NBA. But the defense is in there still, like he's still.
I mean, he brings the physicality, and that's why, like, at Tennessee, like, he was a center essentially.
Yeah.
And he just isn't big enough to do that at the NBA level. I think a lot of people were hoping he'd be like that Draymond type, but he just didn't have the lateral quickness or the length to be able to be that, like smaller 5, like fast 5, like kind of small ball 5, high level defensive center. So I think he's really made that commitment, though, to just trying to be good at the 4.
Mm-hmm. I know I sort of talk shit about Grant often, but I'm a fan. I'm not gonna throw him under the rug just yet. But he's gotta turn it on. I mean, this is year 2, right?
This is year 3, same draft class as Romeo.
Oh shit, you're right.
He was in the bubble playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a make or break year for him.
Yeah, for sure. I know you like him definitely a lot better than you like Semi. So,
but I saw some shit from Semi the other day on Twitter. I think it might have just been a practice, but he was just knocking everything down in Milwaukee, and I'm sure that
it's his practice.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's going to have some incredible resurgence, and I'm going to hate him even more.
No, he's going to score like 6 points a game. He's going to shoot like 5 shots a game and shoot 2 for 5 from 3, because it's the most wide open shots in the world. And they're going to be like, oh my God, how did Boston let this incredible 2-way player go? And it's like, okay. Yeah. Sorry, we don't have Giannis attracting all the attention on this team.
Mm-hmm.
2 more things to add before we can move on to some baseball talk.
Okay.
Jalen is right now under COVID protocol. He tested positive, so I think he should be back before the start of the regular season, as long as he's asymptomatic. I
which
think
he
he'll
was
probably
the
be able to
result.
test negative before the first game.
Mm-hmm.
What? Is
He
he
was
still asymptomatic?
He was asymptomatic when he got the positive result.
Okay, so that's good news. So hopefully he'll be back before game one. Maybe he'll have to wait a game or two just to get his legs underneath him because obviously he can't practice with the team if he's positive.
Right.
Another thing to note, they were at team dinner the other night, which is wonderful. Jalen was as well. And Josh Richardson wasn't able to go because I guess Richardson isn't vaccinated. So we kind of get our answer. I know Schroeder made a big deal of it, but I think that it was confirmed that Schroeder did get vaccinated at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember it was a big deal towards the end of last season. I think he said that Schroeder wasn't vaccinated because he said he and LeBron were the only two in the Lakers that weren't, I thought. Mm-hmm. Or he just mentioned he and LeBron weren't. But so Richardson's not. So that obviously creates a lot of difficulties for Richardson. And not be able, mostly just team bonding stuff and him having to follow that protocol very strictly, especially when we travel to Toronto because we don't want him getting arrested for the rest of the season. So, but that was just something else to note. And now we can talk some Sox. I thought we were gonna have a very depressing Sox talk. After the first inning yesterday, after the first full inning yesterday.
Yeah, because we saw minimal effort in game one. I mean, just no real contact, like nothing happening, ground balls everywhere. And then we got and then 2 runs in the first, loaded the bases and only got 2 runs. But we saw that, and then Sale gives up a grand slam in the first inning and pitches 1 inning, 5 runs.
Yep, and the good thing we have the Lord and Savior Tanner Houck to save us.
I was really hoping that he was going to get a lot of time in this series, and he saved the season so far. He went 4 or 5 innings, gave up 1 run.
I think 4. I think he gave up 1 hit. Oh no, he gave 1 run. Yeah, I think he gave 1 hit.
2 hits.
Did he even give up a run?
He gave up a home run to G-Man Choi.
All right. Yeah. So but either way, like he was pretty dominant. I think his first 3 innings he hadn't given up a hit.
With like 5.
Because I think I saw a stat that was his 9th consecutive inning without allowing a base runner.
Yeah.
So he'd thrown a perfect game in his last 5 outings.
Right.
His last 3 outings.
Yeah, his last 9 innings.
Yeah.
He saved the season. I mean, and also the bats came alive. I was saying that there was no hard contact. They had it was like 10 barreled baseballs, the most ever in a postseason game. Kike Hernandez 5 hits, tied a postseason record. Xander, he had home run?
He had a ding dong.
Yeah. JD had a home run, 2 doubles.
It was a big home run too.
Big home run.
That was one that put us up 8-5. That was huge for the momentum.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 20 hits in a postseason game is pretty bizarre. I think the Sox. I think there's the most in Red Sox history.
Yeah, I mean that was bonkers. I love to see that. I was very excited. We got Eovaldi going in game 3 at home, which is good because apparently his home road splits are very heavily in favor of him pitching at home.
Yeah. So
it's good to see him at home for, whatever reason. He just feels more comfortable there. Mm-hmm. Do we see Sale in game 4? I mean, he only pitched He must have only pitched 30-something pitches. He couldn't have pitched that long. He only pitched 1 full inning.
Yeah, I think Sale pitches game 4. Marathon Monday.
And then, are they gonna wear the jerseys again?
I don't know, but game 4 will be Marathon Monday, and I think it would be fitting, especially if they win Sunday, if they wear the yellow jerseys and close out the Tampa Bay Rays. That'd
be sick.
It would be so cool.
Yeah, I always forget it's a 3-game series, but that'd be very cool. I love the yellow jerseys. I've stayed it multiple times. So right. I'd like that. it'd be cool if Sale could have some redemption. He has pitched really bad his last couple of outings, so I don't know how much I trust him. I don't. Maybe I'd rather just go Erod in that case if Erod's ready to go. I feel like it'd be kind of.
Yeah, I mean, Erod pitches well at home too, but I think I'd rather have Sale start and Erod and Pivetta be ready to go at the first sign of trouble.
Yeah, which could be very early, like we saw the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a great Sale performance. I've never been the biggest Sale guy in the world, and he definitely didn't help his case the other day.
No, I'm a big Sale guy though. I think. So what happens if it goes to Game 5? Who pitches? Erod?
Oh, it goes back to it would go back to Erod then.
Yeah.
Dude, the Trop also is like, wow, they shouldn't be allowed to play playoff games at the Trop.
They Tampa is moving. The owner or like the GM came out yesterday and said that it's not feasible to play a full season in where is it? Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah. I think they're gonna do the half season in Montreal, half season in Tampa Bay. I don't know what time, but hopefully the Montreal stadium is built a lot better than this one is, because I hate it there. Like, balls should never be bouncing off the ceiling at a major league stadium.
No, I've been
or the catwalk.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Like, you can play in a dome and make it tall enough.
Yeah,
I've been to Tropicana and I've also been to Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and they're both honestly like they have the same sort of vibe. It's like very old, like concrete bleacher seats. I don't think Montreal is turf, but they just have like the same sort of feel. Like, it feels
Well, is that where they're going to play at? Or are they going to build a whole new stadium?
I don't know. I think it would be cool if they played at Olympic Stadium, because it's a historic place at least, you know. But it's another dome. Like, both places just have like this, I don't know, artificial feel to it, and it's not of the best atmosphere for a team that has been the best team in the AL for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but they're also just like they're like, I just don't like the Rays. Like, they're penny pinchers, and they obviously make it work, but
they're also the luckiest baseball team in the entire league.
How so?
Every time you see every time you see them play, it always seems like the other team that they're playing is just at their absolute worst. Like, they just make poor mistakes, bad defensively, poor pitching, and can't hit. That certainly is a testament to how the Rays hit and how the Rays play, but it's also just strange to watch like good teams play very bad against Tampa.
I don't know. Maybe it is the Trop. It has such a weird vibe. It throws teams off.
Yeah, it is. It's just strange. The Trop is weird. It would be a cool place to go. Like, I've heard, like, I don't know. I've never been. I still need to go to Camden Yards, because I've heard I think you've even told me that's like one of the best places to go. And I've heard that from pretty much everyone, that like Camden Yards and like PNC are like two of the best parks to go to. Yeah, I think we want to talk about stadiums. The ones I really want to see, I want to see PNC, I want to see Kauffman in Kansas City, Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and Oracle in San Fran. Oracle last night was crazy. Well, the A's are the A's getting a new stadium? I'm not sure. I know there's always that's O.co Coliseum. That's not Oracle. Yeah, I thought they were. I know, that's what I was saying though, because I thought that the A's were like saying either gonna build this new stadium in Oakland or we're moving. Yeah, I think that's what's happening, and I think that there's an issue with the lease on the stadium, and they don't want to do that. I don't know, but Oakland fans deserve better.
Yeah, they've been they're one of those solid like low budget baseball teams like the Rays. They've been as successful as the Rays in recent years, but they've been solid most years.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you have any more baseball takes?
Do you want to give a prediction for all of these series?
Sox in 5.
Okay, I'll go Sox in 4.
I haven't watched any other series, so I don't really know what's going on in those ones.
Milwaukee is playing Atlanta. Milwaukee won last night 2-1. I think Milwaukee wins that. Milwaukee's pitching is just too good. Atlanta is missing. They're missing a starter for them to be a legit, and plus Ronald Acuna out. Atlanta's missing a starting pitcher to really put them over the top. Then the other American League, the White Sox should be swept tomorrow. They haven't played well. Houston's playing really well, hitting the ball really well. I think, and then the last one would be Dodgers Giants, and I think that one goes 5. I think that we get some incredible games out of that. This game 2 is tonight in San Fran.
Kershaw's not pitching this year. Like he's done isn't he done for the year?
Yeah. So Walker Buehler went game 1 and got beat. The Dodgers got shut out 4-0. So I think and what about a World Series prediction?
Sox in 5 over the Dodgers.
Okay. I will predict the Sox to win the American League, but just if the Sox don't, I bet it's Astros Giants or Astros Giants or Astros Brewers.
Yeah, to be fair, it is an odd year, so I don't know what the success of the Giants are going to be.
I don't know. I've been hearing takes that the Giants sold their soul this year for a World Series. So
they've had one. They've had like a bunch like not too long ago. Why would they do that this year?
I don't know, but
it's not like they've had a huge drought like some other teams.
I know, but that's just the buzz, Matt. I can't knock buzz.